This time we need to bring it down. Let's talk.
You won't bring it
down.
We'll bring it down. Then we'll sit up. I'm bringing nothing down. If it's about talking about our country, I have no restraint.
Yes,
but
we are passionate about it. I understand. It is normal for us.
Even the president knows that.
Exactly. But let's move straight to our final conversation this time. For most soccer enthusiasts in Nigeria, the appointment of a head coach or technical advisor for the men's senior national team, the Super Eagles, is one of the most controversial. The appointment of a former Malian manager, Eric Chelle, as the head coach for the Super Eagles has attracted widespread criticism, especially from Nigerians who want a better coach to revive the team. With the Super Eagles not winning any of their opening 4 games and sitting 5th in the group, which has Benin Republic, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, South Africa and Rwanda, many people wonder if Chelle is the right choice to change that fortune. BK, looking at the managerial statistics of the new coach, out of 159 matches, he has won 70, he's drawn 42, he's lost 47. This is not encouraging at all. But BK, what do you think?
See, I don't want people to see me as discriminatory.
Okay. And
let's not forget that Mali allowed Stephen Keshi to coach their national team. And that's a Nigerian. At least he was our captain, and he went to Mali and he was their coach. We've seen Amuneke also coach Tanzania. But I believe that Nigeria's football history is very rich. You can't even compare it to that of Mali. I believe that we should be able to find, if we want an indigenous coach, we should be able to find one from the ranks of Nigerian coaches. We should be able to find one. But again, when I look at what we have left in terms of the precarious situation, look at the matches we have left in the World Cup qualifier, we are in a very precarious situation. It's almost impossible for us to qualify for the World Cup, which was next year. Maybe they just want to use this man as a stopgap, perhaps.
Exactly.
So I don't understand.
Okay.
Honestly.
All right. Maybe in just 1 minute we have a Zoom guest waiting. But what are your thoughts on it? Just in 1 minute.
I just don't know why the NFF decided to go out, because I feel that Eguavoen still has something for him to deliver. So why not give him the chance? I still believe in Nigerian coaches. So let's argue, because I need to hear what he has to say.
All right, joining us.
Maybe he has a difference.
Joining us from our Abuja studio for more discussion on this issue is the chairman of Kogi State Football Association, Hassan Wada. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Hassan, you are welcome.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year to the team.
Yes,
Happy New Year.
Exactly. First of all, what do you make of the appointment of Eric Chelle? Do you think it's the best decision by the NFF?
You know, when you look at football, there's never a time you say you've made the best decision until you achieve the anticipated results. But for now, it is the right decision, because to select a coach for the national team is not done by an individual. It involves a lot of persons that are members of the technical committee. A lot of them have experience in football administration, former players, former coaches, and all of that. And if you know, this process has been ongoing since the 2024 Summer Olympics. 4 coaches were shortlisted: Javier Renard of France, Steve McLaren of England, Roberto Labadia of Germany, and Eric Chelle of Mali. You know, we couldn't afford the bills for Javier Renard, so we had to let him go. And Steve McLaren quickly signed with Jamaica, so we were left with Labadia and Eric Chelle. And Labadia, after we reached an agreement with him, at the last minute now said that he wanted Nigeria to pay his taxes both in Nigeria and in Germany. So the NFF had to back out of the contract. And that was why the NFF had to appoint Austin Eguavoen in an interim capacity. And Eguavoen's tenure was just to last during the duration of the African Nations Cup qualifiers, which we successfully qualified. So the NFF, in its wisdom, looked at the situation on ground and decided to go for Eric Chelle. we must also note that there's also the financial implications. At this point in time, we know what is going on in the country in terms of our economy. So the NFF had to go with what was comfortable with their pockets, and that's how they narrowed it down to him. You know, it wasn't just an individualistic decision. It was a holistic decision that was done by the technical team of the Nigerian Football Federation.
So this, what you're saying, this is really a matter of affordability.
Mm-hmm. So it's the cheapest that we're
So they are popular way. That's what they went for. Wada?
Well, I wouldn't say just a matter of affordability. Eric Shell has the required capacity to coach the Nigerian Super Eagles. I want to take us down memory lane. The last 3 African Nations Cup tournaments have been coached by, in quote, young African coaches. Belmadi of Algeria was barely on the job for a year. He took Algeria to win the 2018 African Nations Cup. In 2022, Aliou Cisse took Senegal to win the AFCON in Cameroon. In 2024, Emerson Faye, who took over in the second round of the Nations Cup for Ivory Coast, took them to win the tournament. And if you look at the African Nations Cup, Mali played the best football in the African Nations Cup. It was just fate of luck that made them not defeat Ivory Coast in the quarterfinals. At the last minute, Agringa performed his magic and knocked Mali out of the tournament. But they were easily the best team. I was even praying that we don't meet them because they were playing a blend of football that was very domineering and electrifying. I also want to remind us, in 2024, our toughest opponents were the South Africans. At the Nations Cup, we drew with them and we narrowly escaped in a tense penalty shootout. At the World Cup qualifiers, they came to Uyo and we drew 1-1 with them. The only coach that has defeated South Africa in the last 10 games is Eric Shell, and that was at the Nations Cup when Mali defeated South Africa by 2-0. I also want to remind us, last March in 2024, March 2024, the Nigerian Super Eagles met Mali in Marrakesh in Morocco in a friendly match. Mali defeated us by 2-0, and Eric Shell was the coach who led the team. So I don't want us to spend too much time saying that he's a young coach, he doesn't have the required experience. Football is a very dynamic game. Now, what you need are young coaches who can infuse their style urgently into the team so that we can achieve results. I believe that if given the right environment to work and also allow him select his coaches and also give him a stable contract, which I know has been done, we will achieve the right results. We will qualify. I don't want us to lose hope saying that we cannot qualify for the World Cup. I believe that most Nigerians, their New Year resolution was to see how to pray that Nigeria qualifies for the World Cup. We'll qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah, I know, because I like being
given that precarious position
exactly
that we find ourselves. Do you want to take a bet that we will qualify?
We'll qualify.
Rwanda, Zimbabwe.
You know, we lost to Benin Republic. We've not even won a game in the qualifiers.
No, but you see, if you look at the way the group is, our next 3 matches will be the determinants. We'll meet Rwanda, then we play Zimbabwe, and we meet Rwanda. If we're able to get those 9 points, we'll have 12 points. With those 12 points, we won't be far off from the group leaders. So I think that the most important thing for now is for us to take it at one game at a time. We don't need to focus on unnecessary sentiments that he's a Malian and all of that. Nigeria is known as a hospitable nation. The last thing we need is for a coach coming to our country to feel unhospitable, to feel unwelcome.
All right, thank you.
It will affect his performance. So let us change the narrative. The decision has been made, which I believe the technical committee in their wisdom made the right decision. Let Nigerians support the coach so that we can get to the World Cup.
What's your message, as we round up, what's your message to the Super Eagles? And do you think they are going to back this coach? Do you think they will respect him enough?
You see, if you look at the quality of players we have at the moment, many of them have peaked. Ademola Lookman is already past his mid-20s. Victor Osimhen is approaching 27. Aina is 27. They need to be in the World Cup more than we Nigerians. Many of them know that if they don't get to this World Cup, this might be their last opportunity to play in the World Cup. So I believe that the Super Eagles that will turn out in the next World Cup qualifiers will be totally different from the Eagles which we have been seeing. You know, what has really affected the Eagles is not that they've not been playing well. It's just that they blow hot and they blow cold. And you know, in football, especially in games that are very critical, once you blow cold for a minute, you get stung. You saw what happened in our match against Rwanda in Uyo. We went up 1-0. We removed our feet off the pedal. Rwanda came and scored 2 goals. So I want to believe that the Super Eagles need this more than we Nigerians. The players know what is at stake. Many of them know that this is their last chance to be at the World Cup. Iwobi knows this is his last chance to be at the World Cup. So they will give their all to ensure that we qualify for the World Cup. But let Nigerians support the team. Since the announcement has been made, there's just been a lot of negative criticisms. That is expected. If we had hired Mourinho, the story would have been, oh, Mourinho doesn't have experience coaching in Africa. Why did we bring Mourinho?
Nigerians,
Nigerians
will not say that.
We will appreciate Mourinho.
But anyway, thank you so much, Hassan Wada. Hassan Wada is the chairman, Kogi State Football Association. Thank you so much for having this conversation with us. Well, anyway, our time is fast spent. Thank you so much, Mikhail.
Thank you.
Appreciate you as always. Asiko James.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.